Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
I am Rachel Ruth Tate, and this is Text Astrology. Howdy, hi, and good day to all of you. You're here with Rachel Ruth, your faithful Waco astrologer, coming to you from Rogue Media Network with another new moon episode of the Text Astrology podcast. In this edition of the show, we're flowing and going over the new moon in Aries, happening at 0 degrees of Aries, just shy of 1 degree into the sign, on Tuesday, March 21st, in the middle of the day at 12:24 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this new moon, ladies and gentlemen, is appropriate there in Aries, Mars's cardinal fire sign, the first in the zodiac. Because Mars, our activity, motion, doing, making, and fighting principle, because Mars is majorly in the mix, the syzygy. Mars is what's up. Cardinal fire Aries is the sign of personal striving and forward motion, of spiritual progress and fervent efforts. And get ready to do a lot of all that over the next 2 weeks, everybody. We are finally moving. Finally moving because Mars, this new moon's ruler, is changing signs for the first time in 8 months. Just a few days after the moon is new, entering Cancer early on March 25th. This is kind of an underscore of the importance of this moon. Make Mars enter the moon's cardinal water sign, right? Which implies we are going to all feel this long awaited ingress, feeling into the new stuff we are doing here in a very dynamic way. It's going to be an active process because the closest relationship that this new moon makes at 0 degrees of Aries, where it is, with any other planet is with Mars too. That Mars about to change signs right there at 28 degrees of Gemini. So making a hard 90-degree square angle, an angle of the nature of Mars, wouldn't you know it? That dynamic tension that forces motion. So get ready to get moving, everybody. To say it again, like it or not, there is a whole lot of Mars motion action going on, and we can make as much as we can destroy. We can cut as much as we can create, so be mindful. Mars and Gemini, mindful. We are about to be doing a lot of both. Yes, change, ending and beginning, is hard for many creatures, us included. It's a very charged process of state change and personal shift. So don't be surprised if there are a lot of hotheads out there about right now in your family, with your friends, or just in general out in the world. Aries actually rules the head, so hot heads are to be expected. And so are headaches, anger, hyperactivity, anxiety, jaw clenching. All of it is normal and natural with such a Marsy Mars flavor in the air. And it can help to intentionally channel all of that energy and put your head where your heart is. Harness that passion for something personally fulfilling, especially because Venus, our heart and joy, is now at home in Taurus. So you'll know what you want and what makes you feel good and comfortable. Go after that piece, especially because our other benefic, the greater benefic Jupiter, our master teacher, that's also still in Aries, so co-present with this new moon. And it's still there for a few more months. And it is to the benefit of all beings along that line for us to pursue our own highest good and purpose, to be warriors for positive change within and without, because sometimes peace also has to be fought for. And Jupiter in Aries absolutely will. But this theme of negotiating, engaging with, and navigating that sort of war versus peace, the calm versus activity, that's going to be further magnified by the second major news upcoming, which is Pluto changing signs for the first time since 2008. And that is happening less than 48 hours after the moon is new. Pluto will head into Aquarius, which is our major personal and collective area of shadow work, right? Moving into this area. So Pluto is the shadow work, and Aquarius is the social agreements, the rules and the laws around our sovereignty and sovereignty of all kinds. Aquarius is Saturn's fixed air sign of law and order, contracts, duty, administration, technology, cultural stability. You get it. And there is a lot changing there, with very little agreement about how it should be. We see this in the way that we are beginning to question new technologies, more Mars and Gemini here, and also Aries and Aquarius, right? The extension of all of the fine printed service agreements, for example, that we must click yes to use any of our Apple products, right? Or the amount of data that our apps and devices are collecting and who those entities are sharing that information with. There is this way that our economy has been recently digitized, the way our information is and isn't safe online, and we don't even know who has access to it. So who and what information do we trust? And what ulterior motives are behind those who wield the power of these corporate entities and large-scale institutions? We almost all agree about some things right now at this time in society. We agree people should be able to enjoy themselves sexually in their own homes. We agree rape and murder are terrible. We agree water should be clean and available. We agree people should be able to plant marijuana if they can plant nightshade, or grow psilocybin if they can grow portobellas. We agree minimum wages should be livable, and that executives aren't millions of times more valuable than the people who work for them, even though that's how much more they get paid. We agree that healthcare and energy costs shouldn't bankrupt the very populace that those industries are here to serve, and that full percentage points of the population should not be incarcerated at any given time. And yet, the powers that be, Pluto, whoever they are, have kept things other than the way almost all of us want them. This is the world we live in. But this new moon in Aries rises to challenge that. For how long? What part of each person's personhood are they willing to give to the financial and military and religious and any sort of governing elite, and all those invested in that elite and profiting by keeping them there? That's for us all to decide. Mars in Gemini, new moon in Aries, one by one or all together. Those sorts of questions and internal, external conflict fit with this moon's position in Aries. Passion's Latin root is pathos, pain. Loving someone or something is often the very root of that person or thing's ability to cause us suffering. It's the intimacy, self meeting other, Aries being the self. And we can't help it but have that perspective. We are born into the intimate. We are born separate, and yet we must connect. It is as certain as the sun meeting the moon. which is what makes a new moon. And occasionally an eclipse, we'll get to that in an episode or two. But this new moon, this imminent fresh start, begins at ground zero of all of this, of all of these questions, and of reality itself. It begins at 0 degrees Aries. And in that determined spirit, please enjoy the following horoscopes for each sign individually. We're going to go power mantra style for them with this fiery lunation, and I prefer to use rising signs or ascendants for my horoscopes, as the ascendant speaks to the first house of your literal self. But your sun or moon sign is fine if that's your thing. So, this new moon in Aries syzygy for all 12 signs. Aries, I have the power to do hard things. Taurus, I am worthy of my wildest dreams. Gemini, I am a force to be reckoned with. Cancer, my life is an example of my belief. Leo, my wisdom grows through practice. Virgo, I learn and expand in relationship. Libra, I make my love known in my acts. Scorpio, my daily life is a work of art. Sagittarius, I create from a place of purpose. Capricorn, my words speak my universe. Aquarius, my talents are required by my tribe. Pisces, I am the healer needed now. Let those horoscopes inspire something inside you as we take a quick break for a word from our sponsors.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
And here we are again with more text astrology. And it's time to transition into our top 3 transits to observe over the upcoming 2 weeks that this new moon in Aries syzygy is in effect. First transit. Pluto enters Aquarius overnight on Thursday, March 23rd at 3:42 a.m. Central Standard Time, ushering in the first sign change for the mysterious, tiny, maybe possibly outer planet since the year 2008, when it left Sagittarius and entered Capricorn. 2008 rings a lot of bells, yeah? Especially when it comes to Capricorn things of institution, banking, real estate, corporatism, materialism, and the like. Love all my Capricorns, we need you and this part of you. But Pluto speaks to the dark undercurrents of power, mystery, fear, and compulsion. That which is hidden, that which is dead or dying or buried or inscrutable or reborn. And when Pluto was in Capricorn, we had a serving of fear as chaos within established systems, the failure of the institutions, corporatism as global death and destruction, liberalism in an Obama mask bailing out the banks, etc. Now, Pluto, the dark little planet that takes 248 years to go around the sun, now that planet shifts signs from Saturn's yin, Capricorn, to Saturn's yang, Aquarius, from the tradition to the revolution, from old fears to future horror, from the fiat materialism to the currency of images and data, from physical land grabs to wars in digital space, From gangs in the streets to organized crime on the dark web, you see the pattern. What was the established physical power and authority is now shifting into a new rising fountainhead of present and future influence, the digital, the Aquarian. Just think of how many things have gone online, especially during the pandemic, and now think of how vulnerable these nascent, hastily thrown together, literally, how hastily did we throw together during the pandemic, digital networks that we rely on are. How many emails have you gotten about your information being leaked in a data breach? This is the future, folks. The forces of evil we fear and vilify will have a new face, one we cannot see, because it isn't branded, marketed, and hawked like Pluto in Capricorn. It's not sold to the public outright by a celebrity spokesperson. Pluto in Aquarius is subtler, harder to literally see, fixed air. It's more visionary, more sci-fi novel. It's the untold consequences of unrestrained artificial intelligence. It's the army of Russian bots trolling our social media websites, influencing elections all over the globe. It's the shadow power of online hacker groups like Anonymous, who out people publicly and purposefully leak data. It's the self-driving Teslas going crazy and crashing into semis. It's the secret airborne toxic events like the Ohio train crash, mirroring the book White Noise by Don DeLillo. It's the quiet centralization of all news media into very few private hands, and thus the splintering of facts, the rise of misinformation. It's the vilification of PC wokeness and the power of cancel culture. It's the digitization of medical records and the establishment of medicalized passports and legal battles relating to healthcare choices and bodily restrictions. We got a good preview of Pluto in Aquarius when the ruler of Aquarius, greater malefic or socially burdensome Saturn, made its way through its own sign from 2020 to 2023. Saturn only left mere weeks ago on March 7th, and now we have Pluto, trailing and bringing depth and rebirth and mystery to this area of imminent issue for us all. Pluto is transpersonal, you see, meaning it's hard to see in the individual life, as nobody makes it through more than half of Pluto's multi-generational orbital period. So having perspective is tough, especially given Pluto's already shadowy nature. It speaks to what we as a society are concerned with the power of and what Pandora's box we're opening this decade, if you will. We can get inspired and into the Pluto and Aquarius vibe with authors like Don DeLillo, whom I mentioned, Ray Bradbury, George Orwell, Aldous Huxley. Aquarians are always ahead of their time and just outside the box. And let me make this Pluto transit a little bit more personal and tangible. Think of what house in your chart Pluto has been in since 2008, so Capricorn, and note what extreme circumstance, difficulty, anxiety, or powerful lived experience you've had in relation to that house topic. Pluto isn't always bad. It can correspond to very large rises in fortune, as well as precipitous falls from grace. It both gives and takes influence. And now think about the Think about the house in your chart that contains fixed air, socially responsible Aquarius. Know that there will be a potentially subtle or potentially life-changing impact on those house topics from now through 2043, which is how long dark, intense Pluto will be transiting Aquarius, 2043 being the first time it ingresses into Pisces. So prepare yourself for the power and revelation and revolution and rebirth that Pluto is surely to bring to bear for all of us in the socially responsible and humanitarian, progressive, litigious, technological fixed air sign of Aquarius. Get ready for 20 years of powerful new social covenants, global governmental restructuring, breakneck technological innovation and implementation, and a revolution in the rules of engagement, the ways we all gather and exchange. There will be much rising in the digital space and along futuristic frontiers, so get your zeros and ones ready for a wild and intense Plutonic ride. Second transit. Mars enters Cancer on Saturday morning, March 25th, at 6:36 a.m. Central Standard Time, marking the first sign change for our typically swifter red planet of motion and action since August of 2022, when it ingressed into Gemini and began its nearly 8-month-long transit through the sign, due to Mars's own retrograde cycle, which was entirely contained within the bounds of Gemini. And Mars will remain in Cancer until just May 20th, because remember, active Mars usually spends around 6 weeks in a single sign before moving on, and it retrogrades infrequently, only once every 2+ years. So these months have been a long, long, long time in Mars terms. And we have then definitely been feeling this. Mars is a personal planet. Our volition, our principle of motion, our doing. And being so long in Gemini, Mars has produced irritated brains, frustrating thoughts, annoyance, intransigent anxiety, rumination, stuck issues, disagreement, internal and external. And now we get to do the Mars thing and break free. And Mars then floods into Cancer, the cardinal water sign ruled by the moon, where it also maintains its triplicity rulership over water signs. Mars does. AKA, it has some inherent ability to act out its significations, and it's Mars's case. Action is its signification, especially, of course, at night. Mars is in the night sect. We tend to have our own way and get to do our own thing when the sun is set, yes? That's Mars. That's Mars's less malefic and more useful at night thing, when agency abounds. But I must warn you, no matter how welcome this long-awaited sign change is, and dang, it's welcome, Mars is in its own fall in Cancer too, meaning Mars has great difficulty in successfully executing its functions as they are traditionally functional. Mars, the maker-doer, exalts in Capricorn, so it does its best work in Capricorn, which is Saturn's cardinal earth sign, that makes sure we get it all from A to B, no matter the steps it takes. Mars likes that and performs well. Stony Saturnian patience improves strategy and performance over time. Who knew that practice made perfect in action? Anyway, Cancer, Capricorn's duad, is the mother to Capricorn's fatherness, the behind-the-scenes preparation versus the on-stage public persona. Cancer is the care and the protection and the concern and the well-being. It's private, it's watery, emotional. Mars in Cancer gets emotional about its activity, period. And it is often plagued by its concern and care, as much as it is able to make and do very careful and kind things. Cliché, but part of the Mars in Cancer weakness is that it cares too much. And it is also invested, Cancer. Mother energy is invested in that which it does and who it does it for. To top it all off, all beings possessing a Mars in Cancer inextricably have their ability and mobility and energy of activity tied up in the condition of Cancer's ruler, the moon. So Mars in Cancer means we have a lot of variable energy for doing. The moon moves fast, and so its condition changes. So does Mars in Cancer's motivation and inner drive then. It literally waxes and wanes. So don't be judgmental if that's your own personal experience of the Mars in Cancer transit. This ingress should both feel like a relief and an impetus. We have pulled the thorn from the mental wound, Mars out of Gemini, and now we prepare to mend the damage that it's done or engage the healing that it requests and requires. Remember, after Cancer, Mars will emerge in Leo in mid-May, where it will want the energy to shine. So we have to use this cardinal water transit to fill up our cups and internal wells and reservoirs of personal energy. And Mars in Cancer will try to take care of you, even if you resist. It may come in the form of the body demanding rest, or the mind shutting down to spend some time unplugged, or the seeking of a shoulder to cry on, or the taking of lengthy baths and showers, or a return to home cooking, which might have seemed like a daunting task previously. Mars in Cancer will now beg you for your own nourishment and for the honest-to-God nourishment of those who truly care for and protect and advocate for you. You will know who they are. It may not be your mother, but these Cancerian figures are the unconditional servants and healers in our lives, the ones whom you couldn't even pay to do the service that they do for you, whether it's those who wash your clothing, drive you to appointments, cook you meals, care for your children, make you art, take you home from medical procedures. You know who loves and cares for you in a way that sustains and nourishes you. And those relationships with those Cancerian archetype people can be extremely emotional and intimate. So be mindful and observe your attachments carefully this transit. Our close people's moods and their own narrative arcs in life deeply affect us, and that can be both frightening and painful at times. 2023 likely being one of those times. And Mars in Cancer represents also how we will often remain in situations and engagements that are to our detriment only, and very much only, because we love or are in love with the one causing us pain. Only love can hurt like this, right? Paloma Faith fans everywhere and Cancers everywhere. If you're familiar with that song, know that she actually, Paloma Faith, has a Mars, Mercury, and Sun in Cancer. So listen for an underscore to this segment of the show. Anyway, third transit. Mercury enters Taurus on Monday, April 3rd at 11:19 a.m. Central Standard Time. Taurus, the second sign in the zodiac, our fixed earth sign ruled by Venus and represented by the bull. Coming to you, so I'm coming to you as a natal Mercury in Taurus. I look forward to making this transit tangible and simply understood, like Mercury in Taurus itself would want. While Mercury has no special rulership of Taurus, the small, swift messenger planet that speaks to our communication, commerce, and creative expression, does enjoy some ability in the first decan, or the first 10 degrees of Taurus. And at the time of Mercury's ingress, the goddess of beauty and love, Taurus's ruler Venus, will also be co-present in the sign as well. It can be good to be at home with the queen when she's in her castle. Venus remains in fecund, fertile Taurus for the first week of Mercury's journey through, so mark off your calendars and make note to pursue any art projects or creative endeavors that you've been meaning to bring to fruition between April 3rd and April 10th. It'll be like a exclusive internal access to a high-rent, newly remodeled version of your mind, where pleasure and art and joy are the priority. And it's going to be easier to feel at ease, too. What bothers the bull? It can be stubborn, but the bull is relatively unfuckwithable. And Mercury in Taurus is also uncomplicated and elegantly enjoyable. It appreciates the good humor, good health, good wishes, good food, good times. There is a classic quality to Mercury in Taurus, one which is both sensual and elemental. Form, feel, finesse. Mercury in Taurus also possesses an inherently sweet, Venusian unionizing quality. Let's just say it's a lover, not a fighter, so let your tongue speak honey onto any wounds during this transit. Don't be surprised if you find yourself honestly flirting, truly courting, or consistently creating. And it's spring, so maybe love is in the air, whether you're single, attached, or somewhere confused in between. Remember, in mythology, Mercury desires Venus just like Mars does. And earthy Taurus likes to get physical, fleshy, and in bed. Taurians are big on the bed. But don't expect your attentions to center on more than one person here, because monogamy is the Taurian way, typically. Taurus likes what it likes. Comfort. There will be an apple of your eye. You can let yourself carry a torch till Mercury and Gemini at least anyway, and see what happens. Love on the brain aside, Mercury in Taurus is also as much about how one expresses as it is about what one expresses or to whom. Taurus rules the throat and neck, the vocal cords, and many a Mercury in Taurus native is known for the sensuality of their voice, nice to listen to, desirable sounds. Some Mercury and Taurus examples from public culture. We have Cher, Ella Fitzgerald, Penelope Cruz, Uma Thurman, Johnny Depp, Christina Hendricks, George Clooney, Katharine Hepburn, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, and of course, there's myself, the Mercury and Taurus native you're listening to right now. So enjoy some centered clarity, simple pleasure, and fine things during the 3 weeks Mercury travels through the sign of Taurus. And perhaps even get excited for its conjunction with outer planet changemaker Uranus midway through. Mercury-Uranus conjunctions can actually make for awe, inspiration, and innovation, more positive than most Uranian conjunctions. And hopefully in Taurus, the two planets' connection creates the grounded kind of disruption that brings about more harmony and prosperity through new growth. And that, kind folks, brings us to our keywords for the upcoming quality of time. These new moon in Aries weeks will be initiatory, substantial, powerful, inspiring, and pivotal. And that brings us to our do's and don'ts for this new moon in Aries syzygy. Do: engage with the changing landscape of your life and get inspired by every inflection point. Now is uniquely sacred. Don't: get so far up your own ass with your own experience that you neglect the experience of others. Selfishness ain't cute. Do: acknowledge all the emotions that come up for you. To deny anger, fear, grief, or pain is to abandon the parts of you that are angry, afraid, aggrieved, or in pain. Don't get too impressed by the size or shape of your negative emotions. You are not alone, you're human, and this too shall pass. Do: let yourself grow up. Youth is sexy and exciting, but to cling to it is a fantasy. We all become the responsible adult if we are so blessed to age. Don't confuse maturity with negativity or a wet blanket. Bitterness is ageless and completely optional. As always, please like, subscribe to, rate, comment on, and liberally share Text Astrology on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Instagram. So if you listen to me speak that sentence and you don't give this podcast 5 stars right now on whatever app you're listening to, I'm questioning you. I am. And with that challenge, we have the end of this edition of the podcast. Get ready to rumble because this is a very new moon in Aries. That's it for this episode, folks. Meet me here every full and new moon for more cosmic wisdom. For now, you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Ruth Tate and at Text Astrology, or between the pages of my book, Meditations on Being, available on Amazon and wherever else you purchase books.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.